Why is there always a clash between the record label and the artist? Well, I feel like it all boils down to people not understanding what a record label is, or what the role of a record label is, and what the role of an artist is. It's kind of like a business. So I feel like it gets to a point where people do not understand the legal they don't understand the legal backings behind the whole system. So this is my job today. Today I'm going to show you how everything works, right? So let's start with a record label. Who is a record label? Who or what is a record label? So according to my research right now, right here, it says a record label is a company that manufactures, distributes, and promotes the recordings of an affiliated musician. They work to sell the brand of the artist and the products they create, right? So what this is saying is that a record label is a company. That's the first. Is a company. So it's like a corporation where they manufacture things, right? It's a company, right? And they manufacture, distribute. So they are in charge of distributing your music. So if you're in a record label, when you finish making the music, they have the sole responsibility to distribute your music to all platforms and register the music. They also have the responsibility of promoting your music, right? Promote the recording of the affiliated musician, right? So they work to sell your brand. That's what a record label is. Their job is to sign you and then polish you up and then sell you as a brand. Kind of like if you have like a clothing company, you create a clothing line and then you sell the clothing line as a brand. Say this is let's say this is a Jordan shoe, and then you say this Jordan shoe was created by Lil Nas X, right? So you say this is Lil Nas X Jordan shoes, and that's the brand, and then you sell that brand to people, right? Now, here are some key roles of a record label. Let me just like list them out according to how it is here. Talent scouting and development, meaning they discover and nurture new artists. So it is their job to go out there looking for artists that they can market, right? So if you're a music person, if you're an artist, it is your own duty to always like show yourself online where these record labels can easily find you, and then they bring you to the light, right? Now, recording and production, they provide services for recording and producing music. So meaning, if you're in a record label, you have no business paying for studio sessions. You have no business paying producers for anything. The record label is going to take charge of everything. I have worked with a few of big stars in the industry, and what I've noticed is that each of and any one of them that have been that is under a record label, they don't relate to me personally when it comes to the publishing deals or the fees for my services. Excuse me. They don't relate with me. They only relate with me based on music, like, hey, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? But when it comes to the payments and the royalties and all of that, the company they will reach out to you. The record label will reach out to you, and they handle that. Another thing is marketing and promotion. So they handle marketing and advertising and publicity for artists and their music. So once you're done releasing your music, it is the job of the record label to promote you. We're coming back to this one because I feel like this is where most of the artists get it wrong, and this is where most of the artists or most of the record labels fail, and then there's always a clash, right? You know, we're going to the clash. Also, we've talked about this one earlier, they have the sole responsibility of distributing your music to this thing, and then legal and financial management. So they have to be the ones to manage contracts, royalties, and other legal and financial aspects of everything. So they are the one in charge of all of that. So some of the biggest record labels in the world, as you all know, is Universal Music Group. I think there's a whole lot of people in that music group. There's Sony Music Entertainment, and then there's Warner Music. Those are the three main record labels. And if you are in Nigeria, you know about Maven's Record, you know about YBNL, So let's talk about the reasons why artists and these record labels often get into clash. Now, most times I think one of the biggest problems that they have is the fact that record labels they mostly don't have like a big platform. They just have like a board of directors that work behind the scene. It's hard for you to see a record label that have larger following than their artists, right? So basically their own work is behind the scene. And let's create a scenario. The record label comes to you as an artist. They feel like you're a marketable product. They can sell you as a product, and you can make them money, and they can make you money. You have no platform. You have no money to promote your music. You have nothing, basically. You're just like someone that is hustling. And then say someone like let's use Nigeria for example. Someone like Don Jazzy or Olamide comes to you and say, hey, I like your music. I would like to sign you to Mavis Record or YBNL, right? Now, they sign you into the record label. Now, they have to invest some things in you. Like, remember, put this at the back of your mind. This is a business. They sign you to the record label, and then they have to, like, mold you into a marketable product, right? They have to shape you into a marketable product. So they have to buy you new clothes, brand you in such a way that when people say, they'll say, this is Ashake's trouser, right? You know, remember that when Ashake came, it was always wearing the big palazzo trousers, and people were like, Joa trousers. That's what they call branding. They shape you in such a way you have like an identity, right? Or a way that people see you or perceive you. They buy you clothes, give you a house, buy you cars, so that you appear big in front of people once they sign you. And say they spend about 30 million doing all of this, or 50 million naira doing all of this. Let's use USD. They spend about, let's say, $30,000 or $50,000 to make sure that you look good, right? Now, this money is going to be added into the company's funds as investment in an artist. Now, they expect that when they start pushing you out, you make them that money back, right? So when you release your first music, and maybe you sign an agreement, when you release your first music, they try to remove a percentage of that money that they invested in you from your music. So let's say you sign an agreement that you're going to be taking 30% of every music or 20% of every music that you release. So for the next 3 years. Now, you've signed the agreement, they will give you a platform, they make you big, right? They make you as big as Rema, right? Now, you are as big as Rema right now. You're selling O2 Arena, you're selling shows, and you're in already for like 1.5 years. You still have like 1.5 years or 2 years to go with your agreement, and then the artists start feeling like the money that is coming in and the money that is getting to them is not in order. Like you already have like 7 million followers on Instagram. You already have all these things, but the money that is coming in for you is only 20% based on the agreement that you signed. Now, this is where people start getting it all wrong, and people start feeling like the record label is cheating me. But they have to keep to the agreement. For every music that an established artist release, as opposed to an independent artist, there's a whole lot that goes in. There's the money for the production fee, which can be very, very expensive. For you guys that are just upcoming, you guys might not know this, but for a single song, sometimes some artists spend up to 10 to 20,000 just for one song, $20,000 just for one song. So if you calculate that in Nigeria, that'll be like 35 million naira for one song. So have that at the back of your mind. And then for other things, for promotions and other things, radio and all of that, they spend a whole lot. They can spend up to 50 or 100 million naira, or let's say $70,000 on one song. Now, when the money start coming in, the company removes the money that they've invested in that song. Just like when you create a product to sell, you remove your capital first, and the interest is now what you share. Now, on that interest is where they will now remove your 20% I give you, and then they take their 70%. You see how this whole thing works. And trust me, when I'm talking about this money is not small money when it comes to just big artists, right? and but then it doesn't feel. Imagine you being someone that is very big, and then on a song that goes like platinum, all you just got from the song is like maybe 50 million, and then you feel like, hey, this song that has made over like 300 million or 500 million, and I'm just getting 50 million, but there's a low lot in it. And when it gets to a point where the artists keep getting that all up, they start feeling somehow, they start feeling cheated, and in the actual sense, they're not cheated, just that the record label will not, they don't often carry artists along about how much is being spent. The artists just know that they're getting a lot of attention online, they're getting which is actually, now they want to pull out. And this is why most record label and artists fall out. And also there's another problem, which is if you are like two different people in the record label that are popping, and then one person start popping more than the other person, and it now feels like the record label is investing more in the person, that you have to understand that it is also a business, right? It is a business. You as a record label boss, you spend 100 million naira on a song for artist A, spend 100 million naira on artist B, right? And then artist A brings in 1 billion naira as returns, and artist B now brings in 200,000, and then you do it again, happens the same way, you do it again, it happens, you do it the fourth time. Who do you think you want to invest more in? So most times they often divert to the person that is bringing in more money, because it is a company, right? It is a company. You have to like find a way to push something that is working for you as a company. So I feel like this is where artists get it wrong, and where record labels also get it wrong. So that's the major cause of clash between the record labels and the artists, in my own opinion. I think with this whole explanation, I think a lot of you might have a lot of questions or have a lot of objections. If you have any of those, leave them in the comment section. And if you have any questions you want to ask, or any topic you want me to talk about, please let me know so that I can talk about them. And till the next video. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave a comment. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button. If you want to support ePianoh, subscribe. And if you don't like this video, go. Just go.